She continued to keep the lock.
Do you really think this is going to work?
I don't know, but you've got to admit, it hasn't hurt.
For a time, things seemed to, calm down. There seemed to be a period of peace, and we were both optimistic and hopeful that maybe the worst was over and things would get back to normal.
A week later, Bill and Icy were enjoying a quiet evening at home.
Promise me next time you're going to try really hard not to cheat.
Cheat? Are you calling me a cheater?
You better believe it.
I think someone's just a sore loser. Can't take being beat by a girl.
Oh, yeah, it's killing me.
Leave us alone! This is our home! You're trespassing! Go away!
I saw his face. A teenage boy.
Really
You mean a boy?
looked like he had been hurt pretty bad. It looked like his face had been severely damaged by something.
What do you mean, a boy? How?
I don't know, somehow I could see him, and you're going to think I'm crazy, but I don't think that he's evil.
I was still holding on to the hope that this was not that big a deal, and maybe that there were ways that we could diminish the impact of whatever this was.
Well, it doesn't make it any less creepy. I don't want this thing in our home.
I know, but I just get the feeling he's trying to tell us something.
The vision of the teenage boy left Bill and Icy full of questions.
What did happen to him? Was he maybe killed in that apartment? And what about the people who did that to him?
Bill?
was living in a nightmare.
Icy began to feel desperate.
I'm a strong person, but I felt like I was losing control over everything in my life. I just felt like death was all around me. The whole apartment felt like it was a huge crypt.
By December, only 2 months after moving into the flat, Icy began to feel physically and emotionally exhausted.
I totally felt like I was becoming somebody else. Like I was moving under a spell.
Icy was unable to keep up with the demands of her university course. The pressure was sending her deeper into depression.
I would be thinking these horrible things. I felt like hurting myself. I was always sad. I felt like it was so unbearable.
Hey, Icy. Sorry. How did you do on the phone and all? I gotta go.
At that point, I wasn't really talking much to anybody. I was avoiding people. I didn't want them to think that I was nuts.
That night,
Where have you been? You know, you should have been home hours ago. You could have at least called, told me where you were. I've been worried sick.
Just flunked my exam, okay? And that means I flunked the class.
I see.
Oh, I see. What exactly?
Get out. Get out of our house. Leave us alone. Do you understand me? I said get out. My chest.
All of a sudden, it was as if somebody had put out a lit cigarette on my chest.
terrified, Bill and Icy fled.
Both of us were only concerned with getting out of that place right then and there. It could strike any time. There was nothing that we could do to defend ourselves against whatever this was.
They drove aimlessly for hours, trying to make sense of what had just happened.
We were definitely at the end of our ropes at that point.
Bill and Icy checked into a motel to collect their thoughts. The pair decided to contact the paranormal investigation team. This time, the Spencers were determined to convince them that they were truly victims of the paranormal. Investigator Shannon Stidman met with the frightened couple.
Well, it certainly seems like a lot has gone on since that first email you sent. And it's apparent that the...
What struck me most about Bill and Icy's story was that events were escalating. It was becoming dangerous to live there. So that's when we got involved.
I have a few theories about what I think might be going on based upon what you've told me so far. One of the first things that you mentioned was that the apartment had been renovated. That stuck out to me from the very beginning. Is that important?
Stidman believed that any entities that had been trapped could have been unleashed during the renovation.
Anytime you tear apart a structure, it disturbs the psychic energy.
And renovations in a haunted house either make the hauntings go away entirely or they make them worse. And in this case, it seems to have contributed to the activity.
Another thing that strikes me.
A common theme in hauntings is that something traumatic happened. The image seen by Bill was a sign there was something definitely going on in there. Something very powerful, something very strong.
We've been there for weeks and nothing like this has ever happened.
Stidman explained that some entities tended to feed on emotions such as fear and anger.
Where have you been? You should have been home hours ago. You could have at least called, told me where you were. I've been worried sick.
And that the negative energy enabled them to intensify their activity.
Is that what this is about?
That's what this is all about.
I thought we were past all this.
You're never help.
You just let this drop.
If they start to become afraid of it, their energy will feed the entity. It will do something more dramatic. And it's just a matter of time before something harms them physically in some way.
So what do we do now?
We go back.
No. I can't go back there.
But we need you there in case the investigators have questions.
Although she was desperate to stay clear of the building, Icy knew that returning could be the only way to regain control.
It's like I was at their mercy. But I just didn't want these things to defeat me.
Okay, we'll go back. But I'm not setting a foot in that apartment.
Hours later, the ghost hunters arrived. They hoped to document strange activity in order to understand better what was occurring in the Spencers' flat. The investigative team included 2 paranormal specialists, as well as Lois Lee, who would play the role of medium.
I first started suspecting that I had psychic abilities when I was in my late teens. When I got a little bit older, I was able to describe ghosts that were in houses.
Is that the psychic?
Yes, but I prefer that you stay right here and have no contact with her until after she's finished her investigation of the house and grounds. We want her to be totally unbiased.
The psychic goes in knowing nothing. We do not want her to be influenced by what we already know. We want to be sure that any vibes she gets, any impressions she gets are from her, not from things that she's been told.
Can I have the key?
Assisted investigators by providing what she called a shortcut to the past to communicate with spirits.
My procedure is to go into a place and start putting my hands on the walls or objects in the room to try and be able to see into the past. He was such a pathetic figure, young, maybe about 18, 17 years old, and I felt so sorry for him.
No, don't worry, I won't hurt you.
Suddenly, Lois began to feel overwhelmed by a sense of menace.
I started to feel myself changing. I was kind of getting the sensation of being in the body of somebody watching him. And I could feel in my hand a gun. The smell was just horrible. The next thing I know, I was running. I've never really seen that much physical human gore in a vision before. It's kind of like your first time at a morgue.
Oh my God, Lois! Lois, are you okay?
I'll be fine. I just need to catch my breath.
of all the investigations we've done, she's seen a lot of things, she's heard a lot of things, she's felt things, but I'd never seen her that badly shaken before.
What happened in there?
I don't know.
I've never experienced anything like this. Never.
What did you see?
I saw a young boy.
That's exactly what I saw.
She had the very same impression of that youth that I did. And it was kind of a validation that we were not crazy and that we weren't just, overreacting.
You two got out just in the nick of time. We don't know what's going to happen next. You can't go back in there.
If Bill and Icy had decided to stay in the apartment, it would have just continued to escalate. How bad it would have gotten, I don't know.
Lois had what she called a psychic impression of what may have occurred in the flat.
My conclusion on what I saw was that it might have been drug-related. It seemed like there might have been some gang activity involved. It felt like a retribution crime.
Over the next week, the investigative team assembled a detailed report. They had found no evidence of electronic voice phenomena and had recorded no unusual visual information. Further research revealed that the neighborhood had once played host to violent gang and drug activity. Although there was no clear explanation of what had occurred in the flat, the Spencers were satisfied with the outcome of the investigation.
I don't know if I could go on in life asking myself time and again what was haunting that apartment and why. A lot of pieces fit in together, and that was basically enough for us.
Soon after moving out, the Spencers found a new home.
I would have to say that was one of the happiest days of my life. The apartment we got was still in Seattle, but not as good as where Ballard is. But somehow, I felt like it was a refuge for me. At least I could have peace of mind there.
Say cheese.
Cheese.
In May 2007, Bill Spencer graduated from university.
Thanks.
No problem. See you at the graduation party? You bet. Should we go? Let's go.
See ya.
Bye, guys.
The Spencers have come to terms with their experience, but it has changed the way they view the world.
I used to not believe in anything supernatural. I always thought that if I can't see it, if I can't touch it, it doesn't exist. There are some things in this world that cannot be seen